Woohoo! What an amazing day to be alive. Well, it's moments like these where I come from. We say, boom shakalaka. It's a beautiful day, as I always say. My name is Clint Verghese. I'm an artist, an entrepreneur, and an internationally certified happiness coach. Well, it's my vision in life to make this world a sustainably happier place to live in. And I truly believe we can achieve that. We can make it happen by what we call as the 3E model: educate, entertain, and empower. But the real question is it really possible to make this world a sustainably happier place to live in, especially considering the challenging times? And I feel there are two reasons why it is possible. Uh, Number one, internet has democratized. So no matter if you're in New York or in Nagpur, in today's times, we all have equal amount of access to information and technology. And that is highly empowering indeed. There has never been a more easier and convenient and comfortable time for humanity to be able to know more in their journey of seeking and understanding and wanting to become a better version of themselves. I don't think that there has ever been a better time than now. Number two, and it's the story of human resilience, because we all know that from a single cellular organism to the story until now, there has been a lot of resilience that we've had that has helped us through navigate through every challenging situation. And I think one of the biggest example of human resilience is the fact that today we are all sitting at the comfort of our own homes, and we're able to learn, grow, evolve. And a quick shout out to the faculty members and the organizing committee of TEDx Youth Sangania. I definitely have to give it out. If you guys are watching this, just give me a thumbs up as acknowledging the fact that these 16 to 18-year-old kids, they are actually making a large impact in today's life. I remember when I was 16 years old, I still didn't know what to do with my life. And when I today talk to a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old girl or a boy, they talk about the importance of having purpose in life. I see a strong entrepreneurial spirit, the want to solve some problem and to add value in people's lives. And that assures me that the future of our nation and the world is in very strong hands. Because at the age of 16 and 18, if they are so much filled with purpose, I can just imagine by the time that they become the decision makers in the country, be it in large corporate organizations or in governmental functionalities, I'm 100% sure that we will, with time, be able to become a global superpower and create a larger influence in this world. And eventually the vision of making this world a sustainably happier place to live in will come to effect. As a happiness, I want to quickly just check in the comments that we're getting in the chat box. Quick shout out to the organizing committee members. Yes, bring it on. Perfect. So as a happiness coach, one of the questions that I keep constantly getting bombarded with is, Coach, what is the secret to a happy and successful life? And, all of us want to be happy. All of us want to be successful. And I wish it was as simple and as easy as an answer that I could give. But, in my personal opinion, I truly believe the ability to keep oneself motivated is the true essence of living a happy and successful life. Now, the next question is how to keep yourself motivated. So let me bring in a quick pop culture reference into play. And this will, I am sure, that kind of put it in a lot of perspectives for a lot of us. So let's look at it this way. You make a video, you put it on Instagram as a post, and when you see the likes keep bombarding, the comments keep displaying on the screen, you really feel good. You feel encouraged. You feel motivated to go and do another post, to work, to take action, to do all that it takes, to do your real hustle, to do the next post. And when you keep seeing that result, you want to do more. You want to do more. So just to put it in perspective, when action is taken and we see results, that makes us motivated to take more action. It's a loop of a sort. So it's action, results, motivation. There's no starting point to it. It's just a loop of how things work. So now now we're just uncovering the secrets of happiness in life. And we're just digging through the layers of how to really make that happen. So the firstly, we've realized that it's important that we learn to be self-motivated. There are tools, there are techniques, there are tricks to keep yourself self-motivated. That's a discussion for another day. But just in concise way, when I say that self-motivation is the key to living a happy and motivated life, the next question that I keep constantly getting asked is, how do we keep ourselves motivated? And this is one of the biggest challenges humanity is facing together at these constant times. There has never been a more important time than now for all of us to invest into becoming a better version of ourselves, becoming emotionally, mentally, and physically more stronger, considering the challenges that we are facing right now. And as we said, we've kind of deciphered that we can get self-motivated when we take action and we see results. Now the point is, coach, how do I take action? I'm procrastinating a lot. And this brings to the most exciting part of this conversation today. So what really is procrastination? How many of y'all think that procrastination is a time management issue versus it's an emotional management issue? All right, I want to see it in the chat box. Come on. How many of you guys think that procrastination is not a time management issue, but rather an emotional management issue? I want to quickly just loop in on a story, and I'm one of those people that have been heavily influenced by elderly wisdom. I was strongly connected with my grandparents, and the answer to how to keep yourself motivated, one of the most convincing answers that I've got till date is not by a yogi or a therapist or a psychologist or a philosopher, but a humble Malabari farmer who was my grandfather. He was my mom's dad, a hardworking, passionate Malabari farmer who would hustle it out every day, go out in the sun, do whatever it takes to make things happen. And that was his purpose-driven story. One day, summer vacations back in the day, when during school time and college time meant taking a trip down to Kerala and visiting our ancestral property and the people and all the fun times that we would have. And on one of those days, I remember going out on a nice walk with my grandpa in our coconut plantation field. And he said, this long tree that you see was once a small seed. But no matter how good a seed is, the seed won't grow if it is not sown in a fertile land, if the soil is not fertile. And that kind of, I was just bringing that whole point only because no matter how strong the seeds of intentions we sow, no matter how much ideas we have, how many things we want to do, how much knowledge or how much skill sets we have, if we don't have a strong foundation, a stable ground and fertile emotional ground, it is quite possible that these seeds of intention will never grow and bear the fruits and flowers that we would want to see. And hence, how do we then make our emotional foundation more fertile? That's the question. And as I said, this talk of mine is basically a series of questions and answers that I've constantly had, constantly battled with, constantly jammed with people from across fields, be it sportsmen, be it corporate professionals, be it artists, and across people. We kind of identified that the real key is self-motivation. And everybody has a process in itself, and everybody kind of battles out with procrastination as one of the biggest challenges. And they kind of navigate through these procrastination stages. So my granny used to always tell me that the first step to change is to acknowledge what needs to be changed. Because just for example, let me give you a quick example. If you want to really get fit, if you want to have an aesthetic looking body, or if you want to be more physically active and pumped up and more physically competent, you would have to work out, right? On day one looks super difficult. Day two looks less difficult. As you progress with time, you realize that everything that looked super difficult is just your left hand's play now. Just a Hindi reference, baएं हाथ का खेल हो जाता है. So it's just that. The more you do, the better you keep getting at it. And hence, the first step towards change, as we discussed, is the ability to kind of acknowledge and understand what needs to be changed. And hence, it's important to understand what kind of a procrastinator are we. So, in my opinion, there are three types of procrastinators. The first one is called the delayers. So, I just want all of us to quickly use this as an opportunity to kind of do a self-assessment exercise. Let's look at what kind of a procrastinator are we. Are we a procrastinator? If yes, let's streamline this to three different categories. The first one, the delayers. What do I mean by delayers? These are the kind of people who constantly say that, let's do this. Let me do this task a little later. Now is not a good time. I don't have enough time right now. I am busy with a lot of other activities. So delayers are the ones who keep finding reasons to keep pushing their activities, to kind of just postpone anything and everything that you can do, but it's just the postpone mode. It's like the snooze button, right? You have an alarm to wake up, but then the snooze button happens again. The snooze button happens again. So the first category is the delayers in terms of the procrastinators. The second one are the perfectionists. These are the people who are constantly worried about some sort of failures that can happen. For example, you're doing a project, but you're not completing it because you think there is a better way to do it, and you're waiting for it to happen, and you feel, oh no, maybe this can get better. All these kind of thoughts. The perfectionism thought kind of drives you to push your action-taking ability. It can also stem out from a fear of failure, that, oh, what if this doesn't take effect? Would it be pointless to have done it or not? These kind of thoughts constantly getting engaged in. So the first one, delayer; second one, perfectionist; and the third one is what I call as the distractibles. And this is one of the most exciting things. I think we in general are a generation of distracted souls. Why I say that is only because there was a point in time when you would be on your mobile phone and you would watch long format video content, right? And we're in the era of short format content. So how can we consume more in the least time possible? How can I have like 4 different videos in 1 minute? Okay, so there is Instagram stories. How can I get more and more active content in like 30 seconds? So we have Reels, we have TikTok, we have all those sorts of platforms and applications that enable us to curate and experience short format content. And looks like the future is going to be more tilted towards the short format content platforms, as the data suggests. And this is also kind of what has happened is, we wake up, we want a mobile phone. We want to be distracted. We're sitting on the pot. We're still on the mobile phone. While we are eating, we're browsing through Netflix. The amount of time that we are consciously and actively focusing on any activity that we do has kind of reduced a lot. You go to like the deep down rural areas, they literally are involved and engaged in any activity they do, be it they are eating food, or they're chatting with friends or family members, or they're engaged in farming driven activities, or anything it is. When is the last time we were all sitting with our friends or our family members without getting distracted by one of those notification pings, right? And hence the point is, how can we not be distracted? We will talk about it another time. But the 3 types of procrastinators, once again, the delayers, the perfectionists, and the distractibles. Every reason that we find, we're in between some work, we're making a project, making a presentation, but then, why don't I quickly go and play a round of Ludo on phone with my friends? Or why don't I check what's the notification on Instagram or Facebook, or what's the news today? And, the reasons are endless. So we need to look at, where do we stand in terms of what kind of a procrastinator are we? Do we strongly lean towards one of the 3? Or are we a mix of all 3? It's quite possible that we are a mix of all 3. And in different permutation, combination, we see ourselves being either a delayer or a perfectionist or a distractible in that sense. The next question is, how do we overcome this level of procrastination? How do we become real action takers and move on from whatever level of a procrastinator we are? One of the biggest challenges for us, we always the perfectionist idea. We always want to do more. We want to do the best, but we don't really understand that you can't climb Mount Everest just by taking a leap, a huge jump. You got to take all those baby steps. You got to take those baby steps. We've all grown up today. At a point in time, when we were babies, when we were literally learning to walk, to stand, to run, that whole process, it took us time. We were on our 4 feet first, on our 4 limbs. Then slowly, we graduated to standing up and then to walk. We fell down all throughout, but we didn't give up. The story of human resilience, once again, it's embedded within each and every cell of us. So there's always a want to be a better version of ourselves, undeniably. And the next point is what we need to do is to master minor achievements. We all got to be the master of minor achievements. Once we have taken care of the emotional blockages, once we've been able to manage our emotions in the most optimum manner, the next thing that we need to do is we need to master the small things that we got to do in life. You got to cherish, you got to enjoy. And it's only through those small baby steps, one day we will reach on the peak of Mount Everest. And just want to kind of bring in this quick thought. The same time, once when my grandfather was telling about that seed to tree story and the importance of soil, and we were sipping coconut water, while this whole story was being deciphered to me, or while this whole story was being narrated to me. And we were having this coconut water, and he asked me what is my thought about the coconut water? Did I like it or not? And I said, it's so refreshing. It's sweet. It's yummy. And all of that. And he said, today we are able to have this coconut water because 20 years ago, I planted a seed which became a tree. And now we're drinking and we're consuming the nutrition out of it, which again reinstills that it's not about one day. It's about day one. You got to always hit that day one. Only when you start from day one and you progressively, consciously, actively take actions and make things go is when you can one day then say that, long ago, I had put my efforts and I'm so happy that today I can reap the benefits out of it. I think we all need to have that sort of a farmer mentality in our mind. We need to be patient. We need to be passionate. We need to have resilience. We need to build that level of resilience. It's only through unblocking all these emotional challenges and managing our emotions well, can we actually become a better action taker in life? Can we actually find solutions to all our problems in life? Of course, we all want to be the best version of ourselves, and there is no denying that. But let's not forget, in the journey of achieving our highest potential, we always need to remember that it's only through those small achievements, it's those small wins that can help us achieve our highest potential, that will become the building blocks and give us and serve purpose to being the strong foundation to a tall skyscraper tower that we all are building in our lives. Well, the point is this: can we do that? Yes, we can. What stops us? Nothing but ourselves. What should we be doing? Just get up, take action, make things happen, embrace failures. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is actually the reason why we've been able to evolve. With every failure, we learned one more way of not how to fail, of how to reach towards. Every failure is a stepping stone towards where we want to reach. Sometimes it's important that we take a step back so that we can take that giant leap. Well, it's important that today we all take a moment and think about all these things. Well, that's my time. I hope you guys really feel engaged. And if you think that this can really add a lot of value in your friends and family's lives, please go ahead, share this message, and let's make this world a sustainably happier place to live in. In the meanwhile, you guys keep smiling, keep spreading smiles, and stay happy. I'm your personal happiness coach, Clint Verghese, and it's my time. Thank you.